Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 18th of October 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, but specifically our JFD research page here, which you can find under the research tab. You can always check us out here on a daily basis, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here. But for now, guys, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE100. Now, I looked at this one this morning, and basically what I was saying here, that for now, or should I say this week, there's not a lot of activity in the on the FTSE 100 front here, because we do have a stronger pound, and basically the pound is not really data driven, and here normally we have the opposite reaction. So a very strong pound could lead towards declines here, bigger declines in the FTSE 100. But this time it's mainly like headline driven and Brexit headline driven, not data driven. So in a way, you can see that the FTSE doesn't have where to slide much. I mean, yes, we are having a strong pound, but the FTSE is kind of still stuck in between these two levels, roughly between these two levels, between the 7,140 territory around here on the downside and the 7,250 zone on the upside. So for now, we're keeping a close eye on this one. Of course, today probably we won't see any movement already here. We're just gonna probably end the week like this, but all the action could come next week. And as I said, keep your eyes on these two potential breakout points. And for now, of course, if the pound continues to rally, then there's more chance for this one to drift lower, especially if it drops below the 7,140 zone. If it does that, then we will consider a possible support area around here, just maybe slightly above that psychological 7,000 zone, and then we'll take it from there. If it wants to drop lower, then yep, that's wonderful for the sellers. We could see a forthcoming lower low, and the path towards the into the 6,000s would be open. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on this one. Keep your eyes on the 7,140 zone. If it drops below this, then we could see a move back down here towards the psychological 7,000 zone, or maybe just slightly above it here. In terms of the upside, now, yes, on one hand, yes, if we get a nice push above the 7,250-51 zone, then yep, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could target slightly higher areas. But looking at this 4-hour chart, we can see that there is a 200 EMA that we would need to overcome. So in a way, just for that extra precaution, keep an eye on the 7,283 zone, approximately around there. If we get a nice push above it, then yep, we will aim for higher levels. Or in other words, just keep an eye on the 200 EMA. We need to see a nice good break, and ideally a close above this area before we could aim for slightly higher levels. And if we do get a nice push above it, then we will aim for the 7,440 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, yesterday, I keep talking about this one for the past 2 days, basically, and I keep telling you guys to keep an eye on some of these potential barriers for the upside. Now, yesterday I spoke about this 27,050 zone, Also, what I was saying, that keep an eye on the 27,120. This is what I've mentioned in my Traders Tea Time yesterday. We managed to push above the 27,050, but failed to drive above the 27,120 zone. So for now, we're going to probably lift this a little bit here, our potential breakout point, to the 27,100 and 120 zone. So basically the current highest point of this week. If we get we still have a full trading session, US trading session to go through. If we get a nice push higher, then then we could see this one pushing to the upside further north. But if we get a nice drop below this, we get a drop below the this downside resistance line, then this would in a way open the path towards lower levels, and we could see this one sliding further down, especially if it drops below the 26,600 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. AUDUSD. AUDUSD, this is what I was talking about this morning, and basically we are having a nice push to the upside. So I was talking initially about the this level right here, the 0.6839 zone. So if we get a nice push above it, then this could open the path towards slightly higher levels. Initially we'll target the 0.6870 zone, but if that fails to withhold, then the next potential target could be around the 0.6895 or even the 0.69 zone. So good potential area of resistance. For now, everything's looking quite nice and positive here. The only thing is that probably keep your eyes on a potential scenario where we could see a move higher. We could see maybe a hold up around the 0.6870 zone. A bit of retracement could happen, and then we could see another round of buying here, basically. So something like this could happen, and let's keep an eye on this one. And let's see how this is going to play out. But again, for now, guys, it's looking more positive than negative, unless it starts falling back below the 0.6808 zone here, and only then we will consider a possible move lower. We will aim for this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 2nd of October, and we'll take it from there then, because we'll have to look at this one again, because if it holds, that's wonderful for the buyers. We could see another round of buying, but to be honest, if it drops to this area, there's a chance we could see further declines here, maybe even towards the 0.67 18 19 zone around here. But again, that's too early to talk about that. For now, everything's looking quite positive, and we are aiming for the 0.6870 zone first. GBPCHF. So of course, this is a totally blank chart. I mean, I just wanted to start from scratch here. Basically, on one hand, yes, we are moving higher. This week was a fantastic week here for the pound, and it exploded to the upside. It managed to travel all the way towards this level right here, near the 1.289394 zone, where it just basically fell shy of a few pips of hitting the 1.29 zone. So from which it retraced back down, traveled lower, and now it's currently balancing around here. So probably, unless there won't be any news coming out today around surrounding Brexit, this could in a way remain like this, and the whole move kind of could happen on Monday after we get the results from the Parliament. And how it voted. So keep your eyes on this one. I strongly recommend you guys not to have any open positions during the weekend. So if you can, please close those today, by the end of today, of course, and start fresh from Monday. For now, looking at this picture here, in a way, these are the two levels that we're going to keep an eye on. I'm not going to draw anymore for now. So if we get a nice pop above this week's high near the 1.2894 zone, then yes, we will aim for that psychological 130 area or even higher. But if it decides to drop below the 1.2613 area here, then, well, I mean, this could turn out a little bit ugly for the buyers here, and the sellers could take control, and we could see a slide initially towards this little low, the lowest point of this week near the 1.2460. But if that fails to withhold, then yep, we will aim further down here, potentially even towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 13th of August. So keep your eyes on this one. And in general, keep your eyes on all the pound pairs, especially going into next week. But again, at the same time, be very careful because we will have some increased volatility. So yep, always have your stop losses in place, guys, just in order not to have your accounts wiped out. So yep, if I can put it that way. USD CAD. USD CAD. Now, this one is at a very tricky spot right now. So it's recently, or should I say, I was in my previous videos, I was looking at this one, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on some of these levels. So a drop below the 1.3190 kind of opened the door towards the 1.3166. I talked about this one. It managed to travel lower, dropped below this as well, and tested the area here near the 1.3130 area, or approximately around there. So basically, that's the low, near the low of the 10th of September, or in other words, the lowest point of September. So the pair managed to reach that area. This is, as you can see, it continues to balance above it. It's struggling to drop below it, and for now, this is going to be our barrier. If we see a nice daily close below this 1.312930 zone, then yes, we will consider further declines. We will aim for the 1.31 zone initially, but another potential target could be around the 1.3036, or even just slightly below that, near the 1.3010 zone. So, and that's basically the low of the 18th of July. There are, like I said, some good areas right here underneath, but before we could examine further declines, we need to see a drop below this 1.3129 area, 2930, or ideally even a daily close below that would even work better. So this way the pair would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could target these lower areas that I've just mentioned. In terms of the upside from the very short-term perspective, now if we get a push above the 1.3190 zone right here, back above this level, then this would also place the rate above its 221 EMA, and there could possibly be more buyers joining in here. Initially, we will aim for this level right here near the 1.3240. If that fails to withhold, this, in a way, by the time this could travel higher, probably by that time the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart would coincide with this level right here, the 1.3240. And if we get a push above that one, then this is like opening the path towards slightly higher levels again. We could see a test of the 1.3265, or even going all the way back here towards the 1.3340, or should I say 50 area, approximately around here. But again, for now, guys, we'll keep it short and simple. We will start looking at the upside if we get a push back above the 1.3190. If it stays around here, and if it still struggles, let's say, to push towards this area, then a drop below the 1.3130 zone could in a way do the trick here for more sellers. And the last pair for this session is going to be euro dollar. So this one's popping higher. I talked about this one this morning, guys, and this is working out perfectly again. So, not that I want to brag about myself here, but probably a little bit, yes, I will. Basically, it's retracing. It did retrace already. It tested this 1.1110 zone. Almost managed to reach it, just fell shy of a few pips, but we'll take it. It's perfect. We had a nice correction here, and then you can see that it kind of lifted off from this area and pushed higher above this 1.1340 zone. I talked about this morning, and basically said that if we see a nice push above this, then yep, we will aim for higher levels, because this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could initially target the R1, which is around the 1.1156 zone, but slightly above it we do have the 1.1163 zone, or 63, 65, roughly around there, guys, because that's basically, it previously acted as a good area of resistance on the 31st of July, on the 25th of August, and also as a nice area of support on the 12th of August. So keep an eye on this one. We're not going to drag this one too much to the upside because it did already have a nice run here higher. So in a way, we could be seeing later on some correction to the downside. Let's say if it decides not to travel towards this 1.1163 zone, if it decides to correct earlier, we'll still be very careful here and cautious. We will start considering maybe lower areas if we see a drop now. And let me just rearrange this a little bit, because this morning I was talking about this one because we were still kind of hanging around here, so there were more chances for this one to drift lower. But we can get rid of this for now, this highlighted area here, and actually still keep an eye on our 1.1110 zone, this one right here. If we see a drop below this, in a way, this could be opening the path towards slightly lower levels. We could see this moving like for a larger correction, because the reason why I'm saying correction is just because we're still above this upside support line taken from the low of the 1st of October. So any kind of move lower up until here, and if this upside line holds, or any move lower will be seen as a temporary correction before another leg of buying, unless this upside line gets broken. If it does, then in a way, we could even see the rate falling below the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and it could increase the chances for euro dollar to drift further down here. Initially, we'll target this 1.1020 zone. Slightly below that, we do have the psychological 1.10, and just slightly below that, we do have this little low that we had here this week, and that's roughly around the 1.0989 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you want to join me on Monday, we'll have a look at, of course, we'll have a look at the pound pairs and everything what is related to UK. We'll see how, if we had any beautiful reactions or something like that. But again, like I said, for now, guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you're still trading, be very careful, and don't overtrade. But like I said, probably leave yourself for next week. But I hope you have a wonderful and fantastic weekend, everyone. And I'll see you on Monday at my Traders Espresso. That's always 6 o'clock GMT time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.